Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today we're going to continue making some melodies right here at BusyWorksBeats.com. I'm working on a pack called the Blueprint, and this is a hip hop pack specifically with drum breaks. I have kicks, snares, hi-hats, melodies. So I'm making some melodies for you guys, and I want you guys to see the process. So we're going to make a melody around a drum break today from the pack. So this is at 134 BPM. We're just going to drag it over top of here. And the reason I create around the drum break is because it gives me energy that a blank canvas does not have. And also a rhythm and a groove to play around. So we're at 134 BPM. All I did was just drag and drop this from the Blueprint pack, which I'm still working on. And what we're going to do here is figure out our sounds. So I think the first sound I want to add in here is going to be a retro synth. For this type of vibe, we could add acoustic stuff, but let's go for the retro synth. So let's go to here. Let's go to synthesizer. Let's go to retro synth. And let's start here for like a Travis Scott. And let's figure out the root note that works the best. So A sounds the best with this. Okay, so we found the scale. Also, D sounds cool. Let's give it like that type of sound here. So we're going to give it more of a grimy. I'm also using what's called Aftertouch to create that bitey switch. So let's. Okay, so next thing we want to do with this synth is make it monophonic so that the notes don't overlap. Let me see where this feature is. Let's go to settings here. We're going to go to polyphonic, switch this to legato mode so that the notes will overlap. Instead of clashing. And here's where you can set the aftertouch filter. So basically you push harder on your keys and it triggers it opens up the filter. See what more resonance gives us. Let's add a little flanger here. Make it a little alien sounding. Okay, now we just need more volume out of this thing. Let's also add a little portamento glide. So we're in that trap vein, but it still feels like analog synth. Now we could reinforce this with like a simple sine wave, but for now, let's just add another instrument here. Let's go to Alchemy. Let's go to synthesizers. Let's go to Alchemy, and let's see if we could add a bass in here. Let's go to bass. See if I have these ranked. Let's try some sounds here. So it seems like an arpeggio of some sort. Let's try more simple basses. Trying to figure out why everything has an arpeggio. I don't want arpeggio basses. Again, I'm not sure why everything in here has like an arpeggio to it. Like the sound? We're gonna have to turn it way down though. So it's more of a sound effect. Let's just run that back. So we're just adding this little impact sound. It's very low in volume. I'm going to turn it back up. So I played this so at different variations in volume there. And let's go in here. Let's drag this out to be 16 bars, which is 8 bars. Hit Control R or Command R. And let's turn this sound up. See how we're getting a really unique sound? Let's go in here, let's quantize these notes. Just so they're not all over the place. Now the delay is a little bit not time synced, but I'm not gonna stress about the delay. Let's see if we could even find the delay. It says tempo sync, but it's not. It's on dotted notes, so let's take that off dotted notes. Still a little early, but I'm not gonna. Now I'm obsessing. As I say, I'm not gonna obsess. Just adding a little time offset. I don't even know if that changed anything. All right, now let's figure out another bass sound here. So we have a real bass guitar, which I don't think will blend with this vibe. We could layer it for like tone though. So let's layer it. Playing a little sloppy because, okay, let's run this back. All right, so we pretty much got the bass. A couple notes were sloppy here. Let's delete that note. We don't need to quantize much, but if we wanted to, we could quantize it about 50%. So now we have 3 bass elements. One's more of like an ear candy bass, that top bass. And then one's more of a lower bass. And we could enhance the second bass with an EQ here. Let's boost up the lows. Give it more sub to fill out the track. And keep in mind the drums have sub in it too. We don't want to overkill. So let me just fix some of these compression settings here. Alright, so now we got this like alien melody going. Let's copy that bass over. Now on the second half, what we're going to do is duplicate this bass, pull it down one. And let me see, is there a fast way to do this? So I'm just going to drag it down. And on the second bass, I'm going to add chorus. So it's going to be a little bit wider on the second half. And this way we get a different performance. Maybe I'll cut out the lows on the second bass. Unless it might sound good though. Okay, sounds fine. So now it's a little bit wider on the second half. So now let's find some kind of like sprinkly synth. Let's go to synthesizers. Let's try the retro synth one more time. Let's just try different synth approaches here. Okay, so I gotta get kind of deep with sound design here. Let's add some unison. type sound. See if we can add some release tail, make these longer. Give these like some Kanye pads. So we're looking at G suspended second into G minor. Okay, so that's the chord type. And then we're going to turn these pads down in the mix. See if we can go down to C minor. And then I'm probably gonna add some kind of lead in here for more energy on the top end. And we're probably gonna address the harmonics on the master channel with the compressor or distortion plugin. Here's where we're gonna drop the C minor. All right, so let's go in here. Let's hit Control A and let's quantize these notes a little bit. Pull this fader down. I'm gonna try to get more distortion out of this track, for more harmonics here. More bounce. Now on top of that plugin, we could add a plugin here under the distortion. There's one called Distortion 2, I think. Yeah, and it adds this really cool buzzy sound you guys can hear. So I like to mess with this one too. And there's a mix level down here. Now we can get that grit over the entire track. So now it's just a matter of how much distortion we want on this track. Also, I'm going to see if we can run the pad through a reverb. Bigger reverb here. We're using a spring reverb from Arturia on the bus, so it has a longer tail, but we're pulling it in mono, so it's not this huge reverb on the side. All right, now let's try different distortions. Whoa, that was super bitey. see if we can find a lead sound to add in here. We're just trying out different leads. At the end, I messed up a couple notes. So now I'll just swap out the sound. This like pitch bendy sound here. Send it through our effects chains. For this sound too, I want to use the multi-effects beat breaker. Let's just mangle this up. Just try out different presets. And I'm also messing with the tuning. So the ultimate test is, let's hear it without the drum. All right, so it's just that weird sound. Let's run it back. All right, so let's print this to audio, and then I'm going to show you guys one more trick after this. Now that we have it printed, what we could do is go to this icon right here, the flex. Let's turn this on, and then we have to turn it on for any audio tracks in our project. So let's click here, and basically it will time stretch to our BPM. The next step is we're going to right click here and go to customize control. We're going to switch this to custom, and then switch it to vary speed. X out of here, click here, go to vary speed. Right, let me see here, vary speed, left click, and then go to detune by semitones, and then we're gonna mess with this and the tempo to get different vibes here. Let's go -3 semitones. Let's also hear it with the drums. Here. Oh wait, it's like a weird delay. Check. Let me turn this off. Reset to 0. Why is this delayed? All right, so I guess vary speed processes it so much that it adds a latency. So that's one way to do it. I want to hear it without the drums and hear it through the vary speed again. All right, now let's hear it through without the drums. It does sound darker, but I'm not sure it sounds better. So let's add a 3 semitone increase, and then I'm also going to mess with the tempo. Now this sounds better. Curious to hear what the drums sound like. definitely has that vibe. So we're going to print this to audio as well. And the last technique is we could just change the BPM. Let's go all the way up to 160 BPM. Now, the only thing that's really flexed is that drum. But we're not going to worry about the drum right now. But you guys can turn the flex back on. But let's just hear what it sounds like with the drum. I'm going to take the drum out, though. Sounds cool, but let's mute it for now. This one also has a vibe. So this will be included in Blueprint. I'm going to print this to the folder. All right, guys, so that is the process of me making melodies for you. So look out for the Blueprint kit. It's coming out soon. I don't have a website for it just yet. Just sign up for free at busyworksbeats.com, and then I'll let you guys know. All right, subscribe if you're new. Peace out, guys.